Council Handbook, 13th edition, okay? Page 220.
People have been paying this council tax bill for years, and no one has kicked up a fuss.
This luxury apartment building is one of the most expensive places to live in the country, yet this building has one of the lowest council tax rates in all of England.
What this means is you can end up stuck with a bill that just gets higher and higher and higher.
The council wants us to get on OnlyFans. I think they want to see me and my partner on OnlyFans. They want to see us do something strange for a piece of change.
But where does our council tax money go?
Council tax, part 2.
Council tax, part 2, because apparently daylight robbery comes with an annual increase. Council tax bills are rising yet again in 2025, but services still falling apart. Missed bins, broken roads, and councils funneling funds into God knows what while claiming they're skint. And remember that one-year freeze Starmer promised? It's long gone. The hikes are back, and people are fuming. Today on Brit Rants, we're diving back into the madness. TikTok is full of fed-up taxpayers, and the rage? It's only getting louder. From £2,000 bills to zero accountability, Brits are asking, what exactly are we paying for? Let's get into it. And if you're done funding failure, hit subscribe and join the outrage.
Council Handbook, 13th edition, okay? Page 220. Liability Orders. Note, the Form A, originally provided to draw up liability orders, was removed from law from 10th of July 2003 in Wales and the 1st of October 2003 in England, and no form has been substituted in its place, without any written record of its order or judgment being issued by the court. An order from a magistrate's court may be invalid. Not to mention they don't follow any due process, they commit fraud every day, they hire out the courtrooms themselves. This isn't free men of the land, this isn't common law, this is their own handbook. And they're still getting away with it.
Council tax is a ruse by city councils to defraud the public, says Steve. Shall we debate on Facebook? But Steve, what would we debate? For there to be a debate, there has to be a disagreement. And here's where I am. I pay more council tax than anyone you know. This year, I'm paying £4,800 for what amounts to fortnightly bin collections. That is £300 up on last year. You know what? Council tax, we are paying more and more and more. And in return, we're getting less and less and less. Things that used to be included in council tax now has separate additional charges. And you know what isn't being cut back? The amount of money that's being paid to the very top people in councils. There are people who run councils who get paid more than the Prime Minister. There are golden hellos, there are golden parachutes, there are golden handcuffs, there are bonuses and expenses and awards and all sorts of extra cash, and it's all flowing from the council taxpayer to those people. I really appreciate your comments, but when I talk about the nonsense that Sov Shits and Freeman and Strawman and whatever they call themselves, I'm not calling you any of those things, but when I talk about the nonsense that they come out with for legal loopholes, they all say the same thing. Do your own research. I've done my own research, and there's nothing, not one jot, not one iota of any validity or merit in anything they claim. I completely agree with you. It's a scam. And for the moment, it's a scam that we're stuck with. Thanks, as ever, for your comment.
So this morning, we got our council tax bill, yeah? And do you know what? I think the council wants us to get on OnlyFans. I think they want to see me and my partner on OnlyFans. They want to see us do something strange for a piece of change. And personally, I just feel like if the council wants to see me skin out on the net, they should come to me direct. Don't go through the corners, because that bill, it's not adding up. Like, I can't lie, guys. I'm about to start monetizing this page. If you don't see that I'm doing, hello guys, come on, buy toilet roll. Like them aunties that are shouting on TikTok shop, yeah? Listen, know that it's the council tax that's done me in, because if you stay on it, I'm not understanding that bill, not one piece.
Here it is. Bolton MBC Council Tax Bill. Receive this today via email. Please find attached your Council Tax Bill. Click here to view additional information which forms part of your bill. Thank you for helping to keep costs down by agreeing to receive your bill by email. Jim, you can't fucking keep costs down. Bolton Council. So I opened it up and this is what I got. An overall 5% increase from the previous year. It was 4.66% last year. I know it's 5% this year, so just shy of 10% in 2 years. I bought my first property in 2016. I've had 2 others since then, and ever since 2016, so 8 years ago, it has gone up literally 4% minimum, maybe 3.9. Whoopie-doo. So, Bolton, increase from previous year, 3%. Adult social care, 2%. Police and Crime Commissioner precept, 5.3%. General precepts, including fire services, 4.6%. Obviously, that brings it to 5%. Can somebody tell me what a policeman is? What the police are? I've done what they are. No clue what they are. I think it's gone up over £300 this year. But this comes with reduced services, right? You pay more for less. I'm telling you now, there needs to be a new law with regards to council tax. It should be capped at, say, fucking £1,000 a year or something. What are you doing to people? What are you trying to do? What is the main aim? Let me tell you now, Bolton Council, everybody's got their own council. Bolton Council are an absolute shambles. I would love it. I would love it if people started going there and doing something about it. And something needs to happen, because these are just going to carry on doing this every single year. So there's another bill what's gone up. Beautiful.
I just got to my council tax bill. I've just come home to my unfurnished apartment, me and my cat. That is it. That's all I have. And I've got this council tax bill that is an abomination. It's abominable. It's audacious. It's extravagant for no reason. It is unjust, unfair, and unprecedented. The council tax bill is so billable, I want to bill it. I am outraged. I am outraged that people have been paying this council tax bill for years. And no one has kicked up a fuss. No one started a petition. No one's done a march. No one's rallied. No one's fought hard enough to stop this evasive payments being taken. I am shocked. Let me tell you something. I will sell this house. I will sell it. I'm so mad at the local council. I will instruct a lawyer. I will. Better yet, I get my results tomorrow for my law degree. I will instruct me, and I will take me and instruct myself to make a claim against the council for their ridiculous, the streets aren't even clean. The streets aren't clean. The roads aren't even. There's one-way streets everywhere. No one can get around. What on earth do I pay council? If me and this council ever catch up, ever, what I will do is I will apply for a job at this local council, and I will get into their council tax department, and I will scrub my name from the records. That's what I will do, because if you want to jinnle me, I will jinnle you. I've had a long day. Do you know how tough it is when you've had a long day and you come back to this sort of Jezebel letters?
Council tax. About a year ago, just over a year ago, there's a video of Keir Starmer doing a speech and saying not a penny more on your council tax when the Labour government gets into power. Not a penny more. Well, councils, all sorts of councils, are now finalising their council tax bills for next year. I think we've received them in the next month, 6 weeks, and then we start paying them at the beginning of April. I believe that's correct. And apparently, the rises in a lot of councils are going to be enormous. 8 councils have put in budgets for and have applied to raise their council tax by 25%. Now, I'm fairly sure that won't get signed off. That won't be allowed. there is a legal cap, and that's miles beyond the legal cap. I think it's about 5 times the legal cap. I think the cap is 5%, I believe. I could be wrong on that, but I believe it's 5%. But apparently, many other councils have found loopholes, legal loopholes, and will go beyond that 5% cap. So many people are potentially going to be getting 6, 8, 10, 12%, possibly even more rises in their council tax when they start to come out in the next month or two. Now mine, I believe at the moment, is about £2,800 a year. So if it was to be 10%, that's an extra £280 a year. Or what's that, £22, £23 a month on top of what we're already paying. And then I've seen another article come out today, I think it was on the news actually this evening, saying that some councils are looking to reduce their refuse collection to once a month because they can then apparently better organise their recycling. So just to put those two things together, your council tax is going to go up massively. You're going to be having to pay a load more money to the council for the services they provide, but they're going to reduce the services they provide. So you're paying more for less. And just over a year ago, 18 months ago, Keir Starmer is on camera giving a speech, wearing a white shirt, saying not a penny more on your council tax. And if anyone doubts that, I can send them the link to the video on X if they want. How does that square off? How does Keir Starmer get away with absolutely lying through his teeth? It's absolutely disgusting. And how are people, when times are as tough as they are, when all sorts of taxes going up, going to find, even if it's only 5%, that's still a big rise. But if it's more, 8, 10, 12%, and what happens if those 8 lunatic councils somehow find a legal way to get 25% signed off? Who's going to suddenly pay 25% a month more for their council tax? Absolutely disgusting. Unbelievable.
I'm standing outside One Hyde Park in Knightsbridge. This luxury apartment building is one of the most expensive places to live in the country. Harvey Nichols is just across the road, and Harrods is down there. Yet, this building has one of the lowest council tax rates in all of England. What's going on with that? A 5-bedroom apartment here is currently listed for £60 million on Rightmove, while 1-beds are going for £5 million a pop. The Westminster Borough has the second cheapest council tax rate in the entire country, ranging from £648.72 at Band A to £1,946.32 at Band H. Council tax in this country is regressive, meaning the poorest households pay the highest tax. The current council tax is set based on property values made in 1991, which is crazy. This is blatantly unfair, especially considering house prices in London have exploded in the last 3 decades. In Blackpool, a Band C property valued at £110,000 is taxed £2,126.41. That's more than a Band H property around here. So what's going on? Why do the wealthiest areas pay the least amount of council tax? Due to the density of the population and other means of raising funds, such as government grants and business rates, areas like Westminster don't rely as strongly on council tax. Yet the most deprived areas often see a higher demand for these public services, such as social care. This creates a feedback loop where councils are forced to keep their council tax rates high, while the most affluent areas keep theirs low. Campaigners are suggesting that the government scrap council tax and stamp duty altogether, replacing it instead with a proportional property tax. They're suggesting that homes should be taxed at approximately 0.5% of their current value, with second homes taxed at 1%. This could raise up to £5 billion a year for the Treasury, exactly the same amount as Labour's cuts to disability benefits. This is similar to how it's done in the US. Someone living in a 1-bedroom apartment in the Manhattan equivalent of One Hyde Park would pay the equivalent of £200,000 per year. That's more than 100 times the council tax rate here. In the spring statement, the Chancellor's cuts will harm the most vulnerable in society, but council tax reform would do the opposite. Obviously, it's a huge policy shift, and we'd have to be careful to make sure we're protecting people like cash-poor, asset-rich households. However, the potential is massive. A proportional property tax could give the Chancellor the fiscal headroom she needs to protect disability benefits and fight child poverty.
I haven't paid council tax in 3 years. That proves you can legally get out of it. I get comments like this a lot when I talk about sovereign citizens and their nonsense posts. So why should it bother me? Well, in desperate times as we are now with the socialists in number 10, people who are vulnerable and short of money are increasingly looking for ways to cut costs and maybe avoid council tax. The question, though, is whether or not people who claim to avoid council tax are telling the truth. Here's my read of their agenda. They could be lying to sell something. Many of the loudest proponents of lawful rebellion schemes often have something to sell. Courses, legal kits, or advice claiming they can teach others to avoid tax legally. Essentially, they're grifters, exploiting people who are desperate to dodge taxes and fines. These scammers rarely follow their own advice. Fantasy and echo chambers. Some people genuinely believe this nonsense because they've been sucked into online echo chambers where they reinforce each other's delusions. Once you commit to a belief like this, confirmation bias kicks in and they ignore legal evidence to the contrary. Trouble waiting to happen. Some may have avoided trouble temporarily, but that's often because tax enforcement takes time. HMRC doesn't always act immediately, but when they do, penalties can pile up. These individuals might think they've got away with it, only to face severe consequences later. They're telling the truth. Of course, it's entirely possible that someone has found a legal loophole. But ask yourself this, if you found a way to avoid a multi-thousand-pound yearly charge, would you not charge more for it than £25? And do you think that solicitors might be falling over themselves to sell this solution? And to further clarify this, if it were true, I would be selling it. I am entirely happy with the idea of avoiding council tax. It's just this isn't a thing. Look, the reality is that most people claiming that they've successfully avoided tax forever are lying or living in denial. HMRC has significant resources, and when they do act, it's often devastating. High-profile cases usually end in hefty fines, bankruptcy, and criminal charges. In the end, these claims of success are either short-lived or fabricated, and if you're listening to them, you're probably being led down a dangerous and expensive path. Please be careful.
Now, I like to keep my grass cut, as you can see here. It's not amazing, but it's cut and it's neat. Now I'd like to show you the council's idea of cutting the grass. Look at this. This is my garden, and at the end of my garden, this is what I have to look at. This. Don't get me wrong, they do come round and cut the grass once every several months, but they never do the whole lot. This is what they did today, and I watched them do it. Yes, they cut round the signpost and then left the rest of it. When they do it, they always do 2 foot in from the edge. And when I asked them why they only do that, they said, because they're encouraging bees. Really? So, to encourage bees, I've got to look out of my front window and see that. Lovely. Now that has to be the worst excuse for not being bothered to cut the grass I've ever heard. Why? Seriously, why? I don't want to hear this nonsense about, oh, we're saving the bees. No, you're not. It's laziness. Why are we paying our council tax? In which case then, if our council tax is paying towards these services that you're doing, then I'll have a reduction on my council tax on behalf of the bees, please. Utterly ludicrous. Just lazy bollocks, that's what it is. Utter bollocks. And now I need another cup of tea.
Right, I have a serious and genuine question to ask you, right? It's serious. But where does our council tax money go? Because I thought it was like for policing, like fire services, bin men. Now this is one topic I need to come on to. It is definitely not going on bin men and bin services, because our bin collection is Monday. Now, it was bank holiday Monday, but they were still collecting, because they collected our green bags. If you're in Swansea, you know. They collected our green bags, but with green bags also goes out black bags and food waste. Now, have they collected our black bags and our food waste? No, they haven't. And now, foxes, rats, birds are now ripping everyone's black bags open on the street, and there's rubbish everywhere. It's carnage, yeah, right? It's carnage. And I've emailed my housing officer and told him, like, nobody has collected our black bags, what's going on? Where's our council tax money go? And he's like, oh, I'll get hold of environmental health. I said, yes, please do, because there's rubbish everywhere. It's carnage, okay? But we're now Wednesday and it still hasn't been collected. Like, so where does our council tax money go? Because it's not going on bin services and bin men. Rant over.
Council tax, part 2. The vile comments and the vile messages that I received when I put up a video regarding council taxing has gone up, how much it's gone up by. God forbid I'm allowed to also vent or moan about the rising cost of living, even though the whole of the UK do it, because of where I live, because of the house that I've bought. But God forbid I even mention about the rising cost of living. I had people saying to me, if you don't like it, can move. I had people saying to me, clearly you can afford it, why are you crying poverty? I didn't once cry poverty, so get your facts right on that. I simply vented what the whole of the UK is saying. And some of the messages and the comments, they was like beyond vile, really, really beyond vile. And I just block people because I can't really be arsed. But little does people know that 15 years ago, I was homeless. I didn't have a nice house. Me and my kids moved back in with my mum. I was homeless, registered homeless. So it was the most shittiest time. One of the most shittiest times of my life. And do you imagine like what a failure that I felt to my kids? It was awful. It was horrendous. And I've worked hard for the last 8 years to have what I've got, to what I've been able to give back to my family. And I won't be penalised for that. Like, I just won't. So on that note, I will moan about my council tax that has gone up to over £4,000 a year, because I think it's an absolute mistake. And I even had people saying, well, it doesn't just go on the maintenance of your road. I obviously know that, but I maintain my road. I have my bins collected once a week. I got a free bag of bin bags. Great, thanks ever so much for that. And I do know it goes on other services like the police, social services, adult care, blah, 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 blah. But I'm still pissed off. I'm still pissed off with the increase. So if I want to vent about it, I will. Because I know the whole of the UK are also feeling it. And don't think that... I think everyone is feeling the rising cost of living at the moment. So if you don't like it, don't watch. And I just want to say, if you are one of those people that have managed to pull themselves out of a shit situation, do you know what? I'm giving you a massive fucking clap, even if no one else don't. I just find that sort of behaviour, like throwing hate to someone that's made a better life for themselves, throwing hate, stupid, disgusting comments. I just find that sort of behaviour like really, really ugly. And if you are in a shit situation, I just want you to know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. It may not seem that way at the moment, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm just going to go in the garden, sunbathing, still moaning about my council tax bill. And if you don't like it...
So just getting back to the council tax thing, my girlfriend pays, she's single occupant, I don't live with her, I've got my own place, and she pays £236 a month to have exempted. And they can't even do that properly, because the last time the black bin, it was still half full. I mean... And she said, I'm not paying my council tax anymore. Is there anybody out there now who's going to refuse to pay their council tax? And if she said it, she means it. She will not pay it, and that's that. So let me know, guys, if there's anybody else out there who's going to refuse to pay their council tax now because you're paying extortionate amounts of money. And this is without price rises coming up in April. When is it? April? Yeah, it is April. Yeah. The price rise, and some places are going up 25%. So let us know, guys, if you're going to start refusing to pay your council tax. I've got one here with me. I don't pay council tax. I live in the woods, so I'm all right. I'm all right in a minute. But if I had to pay it, yeah, I would refuse to. Just like the BBC licence, I've not paid for years and years and years. I'm not paying it. Not interested. Let me know, guys, about the council tax thing. Are you going to keep paying it? Do you think you're getting value for money? Let us know. Love you all. Thanks for watching.
So I've just nipped home on my dinner, and what beholds me is the new council tax bill for next year. And shock horror, it's gone up. Now, obviously, everybody has to pay the council tax bill, but I hate it. It's the one bill that I absolutely hate. And it goes up every single year. Like, I don't know. Does it grind on anybody else? Because it does me. Like, things are expensive enough, and obviously things aren't going up on our side, but things on the other side are going up. Like, I just don't, it honestly infuriates me, should I say. I'm guessing everybody else's has gone up as well. I'm not sure how much of the increase, because I can't be bothered to even add it up, but I look at it right now and I can tell you that it's more than what it was before. So I usually stretch ours out for 12 months, but this year I'm thinking of doing the 10 months, but I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it or not. I don't know. I just thought I'd pop on and share my frustration, which I'm sure obviously everybody has this frustration, but FML. Does it grind on anybody else? Like, it's this bill and also the TV licence bill that I hate paying. Like, we had this discussion, me and my partner did, of should we pay TV licence? We don't know why we should, but obviously we do. Well, actually, you know what? I hate paying every single bill, but it's life. I get it. It's what we go to work for, I suppose. But it's just, there's nothing on our side that's going up. Like, you know, wages, etc. But everything, every bill, water bill, council tax, TV licence, everything, and gas and electric, everything just seems to be going up. Like, it's just not fair. So I'm still having a very, very positive Monday though, because I reached 10k. So nothing is going to dampen that. And I mean it. Well, fingers crossed anyway. So everybody have a great day. Thanks. Peace out.
So people in the UK should be receiving letters, if they haven't already, from the council telling them how much their council tax has gone up by. If anybody gets a letter saying that the council tax is going down, let us know. It never goes down, does it? And there's lots of posts on social media about this, but I always like to try and do something a little bit different. You can read the same things, watch the same videos, what's the point? But here's something that I want people to consider. I saw some research done by the Taxpayers Alliance a couple of months ago about how much councils have, how much money they have in reserve in their banks. And obviously I'm interested in my council, which is Wakefield Council. Okay, so I live in the Wakefield area. Now, some news articles I read from February last year, Wakefield Council had £112 million in the bank, but they had to spend 33 million of it to account for an overspend on that year's budget. So that's knocked it down to 60 odd million pounds. Okay, fine. Then I get to see what the council is doing this year. They're raising council tax by 4.99%. Fine, no problem. That's going to raise £9.1 million. And I was thinking, well, £9.1 million, that's not a lot. You've got 60 odd million in the bank. You know, give people a break. Don't raise the council tax. Take it from the reserves. What's that reserves for? I know it's for rainy days and things like that, but do you need that much? Anyway, I was posting on Facebook, and I thought I better just check what the actual figure is, you know, just in case it's gone down any further. It's gone up. Wakefield Council's reserves are 172 or 173 million pounds. So it was 112 million in February 24. They spent 33 million of it. And then a few weeks ago, when Taxpayers Alliance did their research, it was 170 million. What the So how's that increased? And why? If they've got 170 million quid in the bank, our service is shit, and they're putting council tax up again. It's an absolute piss take. Anyway, have a look at your own council. So go on to the taxpayers, go on Google for Taxpayers Alliance, go and find that research, and there's an Excel spreadsheet you can download, and it'll show you what your council has in reserve. That's the study they done. Now I'll just put a disclaimer on the end of this. Don't blart to me about f***ing Taxpayers Alliance and who pays for them and who funds them and all that. I don't give a shit, right? I'm not bothered. If you don't like the Taxpayers Alliance, whoop the do. If you don't know who funds them, or it's not you, put it this way. You don't pay a penny into the funding of the Taxpayers Alliance. So why are you worried? And don't answer that, because I don't give a
Marsdens are one of the many bailiffs out there that collect for your council tax arrears. They add their own fees and their own charges onto the original amount owed. What this means is you can end up stuck with a bill that just gets higher and higher and higher. They'll pester you by phone, text, email, and they will eventually come to the door. Now, it's important to know what they can and what they can't do. They cannot force entry without a magistrate's court writ. They can enter via peaceful means. So if your door's open, or you've left the back gate open, the back door open, they can come in. So it's important to keep your doors locked. Now, it's important, if the bailiffs are involved, to put action into place now. The first thing to do is go to the link in the bio, fill out the debt assessment tool, and we'll be in touch to put some legal protection in place, get some breathing space set up, so you've got time to put a solution in place to stop the bailiffs.
Hey guys, just a quick one. If you're a student, do not forget to submit your exemption from council tax, because you will get a letter billing you for £1,600 that you don't have. I'm a full-time student and I didn't pay it last year. I don't have to pay it this year, obviously. I don't really understand why they couldn't carry on, because they knew that my graduating year is 2026. I didn't realise I had to resubmit that exemption, so I have done that today. It's December. I've been getting these letters since August, before I even moved in. And I've never opened my postbox thing until today, because I didn't think I'd have anything in it, because I assumed that important letters like this would go to my home address. No, wrong. And it also turns out that I have a court hearing on Thursday. It's Tuesday, because I didn't respond to any of the letters, because I've never fucking seen the letters before. Because ignorance is bliss, apparently, in my life. It really taken the bliss to another level. Do I have to go to the court hearing? I don't know. I have uni. Like, do you expect me to miss uni? No.
If this is what thousands a year gets us, what are we actually paying for? The bins are still full, the roads are still broken, and the excuses are still flowing. Britain deserves better, and clearly, shouting is all we've got left. Drop your council tax horror stories in the comments. Subscribe if you're done footing the bill for failure. This is Brit Rants, and we're not staying quiet.